Welcome back, all my 40K fanatics out there. I am an exhausted DJ here with Tim's Nation to bring you my list. We'll be taking on Lane in our next battle report. Exhausted. GT. 5 games. 2 days. And after wrapping up the GT today, coming home, switching out armies, moving everything around, and getting ready for this week's battle report. Now, Lane and I will be doing a separate video where we talk about the GT and everything that happened there. A lot of interesting stuff. So make sure to check that out. But for everyone else, this is about the World Eaters. You guys seen the tag? You're interested? Ooh, what are we bringing here today? And we're bringing back the Daemonkin. This is a video for a couple reasons. One, we're going to do a little refresher with everyone out there, show you what I'm looking at for Daemonkin, and then start the actual evolution of getting this stuff painted. I am actually really looking forward to getting started on these guys. Now that we're past the GT, now I can start working on the World Eaters until Grey Knights hit. Because when Grey Knights hit, man, it's going to be a lot of fun doing a lot of stuff with them. So right now, World Eaters are what we're playing, what we're bringing. We're going to do the Daemonkin for today's matchup. So Daemonkin is, it's fancy. It's got a lot of fancy stuff that it can do, especially when you can attach a champion and a Juggernaut, a Chaos Lord on Juggernaut, to the Bloodcrushers because of his enhancement, and then that allows you to now have the blessings that go over there. Beautiful stuff. Allows them to do all sorts of kind of fancy, neat little things there. Otherwise, the blessings won't matter for very many units in my army, as we're going to be looking at our blood tithes. So we're going to try and destroy units, generate some blood tithe points, and activate different abilities depending on the army. 4-up invuln is super strong. But we also like our lance. Having lance is really, really good, especially in a combat army. So, yeah, that's what we're coming with today. So let's go ahead and take a look at the list. And then we'll talk a little bit about how we think it's going to perform. But some of this is going to be shaking the rust off and getting ready to go back to these World Eaters. All right, let's take a look. All right, here it is. Still kind of ugly because we got work to do. But this is the World Eaters. We're doing the Kin Detachment. As I mentioned, this is the detachment that loves to destroy things to generate blood tithe points so we can activate different abilities. Blood tithe points are generated whenever we destroy a unit. We roll a d6, and on a 3+, we get a blood tithe. Now, there is a strat to help us. We'll talk about a little bit here. If we destroy a character or monster unit, we gain d3 blood tithe points, and we can spend 1 or more immediately to activate that ability. So that's nice because then we get to roll the d6 to try to generate 1 off it. Then we get an additional d3. That 1 character or monster destruction could give us enough to just trigger ability. So that's something that we'll definitely keep in mind. It's a very good strat to be able to start getting this thing moving. Otherwise, we're looking at, for 2 points, we can get a 5-up Feel No Pain versus Psychic and Mortal Wounds. For 3 blood tithe, we can get the Lance ability. 4 is the 4-up invuln, and 5, then we're allowed the Blessings of Khorne. Otherwise, none of our demon units get Blessings of Khorne. They only get this blood tithe ability. So now, granted, there are some units, I've said this before, there are some units in the Khorne, the World Eaters Codex, that have demon keywords, such as the Exalted 8-bound and 8-bound being possessed-tiled units. They do not count. Well, I'm going to say demon, but there actually is they call it blood legions for the demon units. But the demon units I'm talking about are the ones that we would see directly out of Codex Demons, which are the Bloodletters, the Bloodcrushers, and Scarbrand and the Flesh Hounds for the units I'm using today. All right, so let's jump over into the list. So first of all, we have Big Daddy Scarbrand. He's big, he's mean, he is nasty. He's one of the very few things in the entire army that can actually advance and charge still, since, his wings don't really matter for anything much, since the Khorne decided to literally rake him across the coals. But that's also a benefit that he doesn't have fly for some of those circumstances. Otherwise, he's got a 10-inch move. He does have advance and charge, whopping 20 wounds, toughness 11, 3-up, 4-up, and then he's going to give +1 attack as an aura to all his Blood Legion units, so that also includes himself and any of those other demon units. And then he's looking at either 8 or 16 attacks with that +1 at either Strength 16, AP 4, 6 damage, or 8 AP2, 2 damage. Really nice to see the 2 damage on that sweep profile. That kind of weakens some things where they end up dropping way too far down and going to 1 damage. And it's like this sweep profile really doesn't hit the units you're trying to get it to hit. So kudos, good thing to see that. Still hitting on 2s, as I mentioned. But big thing is that toughness 11, 20 wounds. He can deep strike in there. Rapid ingress, heaven for this guy. He can land and then just sweep out behind, especially the fact that he can still advance and charge. So Scarbrand is our mighty big boy in this list today. Continuing with the demons, we do have the squad of Bloodcrushers that is going to be led by a Chaos Lord on a Juggernaut. So the Bloodcrushers, first of all, this whole unit together, they are going to get the blessings because of the enhancement that allows the Chaos Lord to join the Bloodcrushers. So that's really big because that means we can get stuff like consolidate 6 or pile in and consolidate 6 inches, which can be huge after their impact damage, as well as just sustained hits and other very powerful buffs that these guys would not normally have, which makes these Bloodcrushers super, super, super strong. And since we're kind of just rolling there's a couple of units that can gain access to this in this codex that I'm using today that can use these abilities, but a lot of it is really going to focus around these guys and what they're doing in the specific turn. What else? So these guys do impact damage. So I roll a 4 up, and for each 4 up they get, now here's the best part about it. I roll a 1 dice. So it's when I complete a charge. Then I select 1 unit that has been successfully charged, and I roll a dice for each model in the unit, not each model in engagement. And on a 4 up, they then suffer D3 mortal wounds. So very strong impact damage right there. What else? So this unit is also able to deep strike because of this, because the Bloodcrusher is allowed. So the Bloodcrushers give the deep strike keyword to the Exalted. So that is very, very good, very strong in that point. And these guys also gain the 3-inch engagement range. So they're able to fight if they're at least within 3 inches of a unit that they are considered within engagement range of. So that can help with some of the larger bases and some of the tricks that we want to do with this unit, since we can charge 1 and potentially pick off a weaker unit just on the mortal wounds that we're doing on the charge, and then pile into something completely different and start really doing damage. So the 6-inch pile and consolidate, there's a lot of good finesse with these guys. I love them. I've loved Bloodcrushers for a long time. I'm glad that this unit has a very strong, very good finesse, very knight-like, very mount-like. It feels right with what they're able to do, and specifically out of this 1 detachment. Moving on, we have the 5-man squad of Flesh Hounds. This one's kind of simple here. So I know that Thousand Suns is jumping up a bit in the meta, so I've considered doing a little more with these guys, because these guys get a 3-up Feel No Pain versus psychic attacks. So that makes them kind of resilient to a lot of that stuff. That taking a couple more of these guys might be pretty interesting. Especially since if we can charge into the Thousand Suns, we can start kind of shredding them apart, everything except Magnus with these guys. So like them. Oh, and Vortex Beast, wouldn't really be able to touch them. But these guys I do kind of like. Now, for right now, we're still sticking with the 5 pocket because they do have some glaring weaknesses with their general strength and such. So we're going to just stick with the 5-man for now. But what's nice what we're doing with these guys is utilizing their ability to up down on the field. They can zone out and control a piece of the board or a corner of the board, and then I can pick them up later on and put them somewhere else. So they're going to get picked up probably quite a bit, and then if I don't need them, I'll just put them right back down where they were. So Flesh Hounds, cheap, great objective units, and good for zoning. Moving on to the final demons, demons, we have 2 10-man of the Blood Letters. Now, we will be running the new FAQ for this. So since the change in the FAQ has come out, basically these guys, whenever you do the summoning stratagem, now you're limited that you have to be at least outside of 6 inches of your opponent. Not a big deal. It's fair. Everything else has to come within 6 inches or more than just over 6 inches, away from an enemy unit. So keeping it linear, now these guys do as well. still means we can do a lot of the tricks we were doing before. A lot of still very good power with that stratagem. So you spend a command point when a unit's destroyed, and boom, you still control an objective. You suddenly create a screen out of nowhere, or you have an additional charging unit. Again, with the Bloodcrushers, I finish off a squad and then summon these guys to the field, and now I'm able to crash into another unit because we're still in the charge phase. So a lot of cool stuff we can do with these guys. Overall, not the world enders. They're world eaters, not world enders. These guys are not going to be something that's going to really just completely destroy an opponent's backfield. They're going to harass and annoy. A good target to be able to use another stratagem for one command point to pick them back up off the field after they've done their job, whatever it may be, and put them back in strategic to then possibly bring them back in using that stratagem again and a later turn. So a lot of good utility out of these guys. That's why I'm running 2 of them. The strat is super strong, and like I said, just so much utility. So much utility. All right, so we're done with talking about demons. Let's go over into the World Eater stuff. So first and foremost, we have 3 Forge Fiends. Love these dudes. They're amazing. So 36-inch range, but what really matters is when they get into 18. Because when they get into 18, they get rapid fire, so they're all 3 of their guns get +1 shot, so 3 additional shots because it's the same gun. And they get full rerolls if they're shooting at the closest target. So these guys hit on 4s because we're World Eaters. We're meant to fight, not shoot. And when they get that full rerolls to hit, you have D3 shots with blast per guy, strength 10, AP 3, flat 3 damage. Brutal into the majority of mid infantry and in below. Even if it's like weaker infantry and smaller stuff, you're like, well, what do you need the 3 damage for? I'll be happy I have the blast because it's 3 of those coming off of each one. And then going into vehicles and stuff like that, just the sheer volume of fire you can put into them at the flat 3 damage. Most of the time, you're going to be wounding on 5s. Knights, which are currently a thing floating around in the meta, the big knights, you wound on 5s. Little knights, we're getting there on 4s. So there's some positives around that there that we can at least get some damage. And I think it's 4s. I don't think the little knights went down to T9. I think they're at T10. But if they're at T9, then hey, cool. We're wounding them on 3s. But it's more for being able to have something that's kind of in the backfield, able to keep that board control, keep that mid-game space, and just shred some stuff. Now, something I've considered. I got to go over some of the math with it and see where I'm at. Putting some of these guys in strategic may not necessarily be a bad idea for like one of them to be able to come on in strategic, be within 18 inches, and start just really shred something that's hiding and make your opponent scared to go too close to that table edge because one of these guys can come on there and just shred their unit. So 3 Forge Fiends with ectoplasmic cannons. I did not say it, but yeah, they have all 3 have ectoplasmic cannons, including the mouth, and we're bringing them today in the Daemonkin. Next up, we have a Demon Prince. Demon Prince also has an enhancement. He gives them +1 strength, +1 AP, and +1 damage. I think that's right. That's what it is. +1 strength, +1 AP. Oh no, I'm sorry. +1 attack, +1 strength, +1 damage. So the +1 damage is huge because these Demon Princes are already looking at 3 damage flat. So when you go up to 4 damage, there's a lot of weird things that can just punch through. Strength 8 goes to strength 9, and his 8 attacks go to 9 attacks. So that strike profile is pretty nasty. And that strength 9 is actually a very nice place to be because there is some T9 vehicles out there that at least we can get that 4 onto. He has lone op. He's within 3 inches of a World Eaters infantry unit. So we kind of made some modifications because of that. I messed that up before and just had him within 3 of a unit. No, it's specifically got to be World Eaters infantry. So clean that up so we'll do a little better with that this game. When he charges, he gets dev wounds. Pretty cool there. Pretty nice. And then if you use a strat when you're within 12 inches of him, you can reduce the CP cost by 1. That's the big reason right there you take him, the CP reduction. He is a monster, though, as far as he hits. He'll be good at being able to take midfield or probably hit an objective and just kind of take it back pretty hard. So all around, he's a good fighter, and he's going to be able to command my army pretty well, too. Next up, 2 2-mans of the Chaos Spawn. Chaos Spawn out of World Eaters are pretty cool because they have advance and charge. Again, very few units have this now. You got some strats or some access to it, but it's not It's not slapped around all over the place as was before, where we had it with the blessings. Now you kind of got to dig for it, and one of the units that can do it is the Chaos Spawns. Now they have an 8-inch scout move, which means I can get them into a little bit of a better position, and they have a 5-up, feel no pain, with just a standard 4-up save, no invuln. 4 wounds apiece, so they're a little they have surprising durability. And then because these are World Eater units, they can also gain all the different blessings. So there's things like sustained and lethal, and that we can proc into these guys. So that's pretty cool. D6 plus 4 attacks each, for that, which is really nice. A lot of dice there. Hopefully, so far I haven't been too lucky with that. Usually when I charge 2 of them in, I get like 1 and 2 on those dice. And then when I have the solo one, that's when he's like, I'm going to get 6 swings plus my 4. So I don't know. That's a weird thing that my spawn have been doing. Hopefully they stop doing that today. So what's nice with the spawn, though, is because they're small, weak units, they're very, very cheap. They're great to go out and grab an objective. And if our opponent completely swarms that objective and puts so much on there and destroys them, fine, cool, it's yours. But if our opponent undervalues it and just goes into them lightly and only beats them up a little bit, that's when I can go and bring a squad of bloodletters down and go, okay, well, you destroyed this, but here, now we have 10 bloodletters on the objective. I'm still going to keep this objective, and we move into next turn and see what we do from there. And the scout move lets them get into a nice position. Being only 2 models, we can get them in a nice position safely, where they can kind of move up into that position as we need to. So, like these guys on detachment, especially in combo with the bloodletters. And next up is a 10-mana cultist. Not much to say here. 10 dudes. They do have a 7-inch move now, which is real nice. They give sticky objectives, which is nice. I mean, that's actually really good. Sticky objectives is really good, especially with a combat army. So later in the game, we can sticky our home field objective and move away from it, especially when we don't need to necessarily hold home field because it doesn't score us much of anything. So it's like sticky it, and that it's sticky for engage on all fronts. I'm sorry, engage. Extend battle lines or defend stronghold. Like being able to have that and have that extra access to it is really, really nice. But for the most part, what I like with these guys is they're going to be able to zone in my backfield for cheap, so I don't get jumped in on, and provide me that 3-inch World Eater bubble behind a wall so that my Demon Prince can get his lone op. So that's kind of what their job and role really is. Other than that, maybe late game, they might run out to the center objective to try to ding it so we can make it sticky and just have some extra dudes on there. Or if we want to push in our opponent's zone or push onto another objective, we do have a unit that can do that. So we'll see what they do. But them with the Flesh Hounds are going to kind of just zone out my backfield for most of the turns of the game. And last, we have a 10-man squad of Khorne Berserkers, because what World Eater army would be complete without them? 180 points for a 10-man. Can only take them in the 10-man now at minimal, 20 at max. But with the 10-man squad, we get some good guns, some good weapons. These guys hit relatively hard, and if we do get some of the Blood Tithe abilities up, there are stratagems that we can then target these guys with to allow them to gain some of those abilities as long as they're near a Blood Legion, a demon unit. And then if that Blood Tithe ability is in effect, it gains another tier to it. So things like being able to give the World Eaters a 4-up, the Berserkers a 4-up invuln. Pretty cool. Being able to give the Berserkers Lance and Twin Linked in combat, that's really nice. And if we go and do something that's like a strong infantry squad, we do have a blessing that gives us devastating wounds. So when you have a World Eater squad, now granted, what's nice about this is a lot of the steps in the process to do some of these abilities, you don't have to do if you don't need them. But if you need it, you can get the World Eaters, the Berserkers specifically, having devastating wounds into infantry with Lance and Twin Linked and cause a ton of damage, and be able to fish for those too, because some scenarios you may be wounding 4s going to 3s. And then if you are wounding on 3s already, going to 2s, when you're fishing for that and picking up all the dice, you're still going to have a very, very high amount of wounds thanks to that lance. Otherwise, they got plasma pistols. Not really a big deal there. Kind of feel like overcharging them. I'm blowing my guys up more than I'm doing damage. So it's just like a little bit of extra pop damage if we're in combat. Mostly they're there for the combat purpose, to be a little more durable and also kind of be a unit that's a couple more dudes to help my demon prince still have lone op while moving up the field. All right. Well, that is it. That is the list. Daemonkin. It's an acquired taste. Some World Eater players don't particularly like Daemonkin because they look at it and go, well, if I wanted to play demons, I'd play demons. And I completely feel you on that. I am looking forward to getting more of the World Eaters done. I would love to work on Gore Track some more. The only thing there is that means I'm painting like 40 Berserkers, and that's going to be tough. So before we go down the trudge of getting 40 Berserkers done or all that other stuff done, I want to paint some demons because that sounds like fun. So we're going to get working on this. We're going to get working on Scarbrand and all that stuff and get these guys ready and have some fun with them up until Grey Knights come out. So we'll see some World Eaters going on here for a little bit. A couple different detachments. I haven't gone back into things like vessels. I probably won't do the Cultist one, the icons. I'll look at it again and see. I don't think I have the models to really do it that well, but I think I have 30 cultists. I feel like you need more than that to kind of run that detachment efficiently. So I'll look at it again and see. Maybe I'm wrong. Same with the 8-bound detachment. I have quite a few I have a few 8-bound, but not enough to run those two. So those two detachments, I don't really feel like I have enough to run them. And to me, they don't seem all that entertaining. I'd like to go back and run Berserker Warband. And kind of one of the things I kind of want to do with Berserker Warband is run some of the silly stuff that when you look at it, go, oh, but when I charge, I get this and this. And just see what some of that stuff can do, especially with things like the Dread, the Hellbrute. Oh, I want to see him running. As far as this attachment's concerned, I got to shake the rust off of it. This army is very quick and can cover the board very fast. And being able to have a solid shooting base with the Forge Fiends that are got pretty good durability behind them, since they have an invuln. And then other units I'm able to just zone out my backfield and keep good coverage while we're moving up the field and progressing up the field, and then bringing the demons in. Some Scarbrand on a rapid ingress most likely will happen, even if it's not the best. It's just being able to put him down and then move him after is going to be a big step in the right direction for him. So we'll see. Usually with this army, it actually kind of, I can spread out good and do a good board control up until midfield for the first like turn or two. But I need some of those reserves to start coming in. I need to start making those plays before everything else can start moving up. Because as much as I want to crash the Bloodcrushers and how good they are, their durability isn't fully there when it comes to actually taking, like, they get shot at or they get charged. They can take a little more damage I want to, and as they reduce, then that really means their power goes away as well. So still got to be safe and careful with the Bloodcrushers. A positive thing is, though, with this detachment and with the character leading them, I am going to be able to move through walls with them. That's a big thing with this, with him, the champion that's leading them. So the Bloodcrushers are the ones, and I'm going to double check this because I believe how this works. It's been a little bit. The Bloodcrushers are the ones that give me the impact damage because they're the ones, yes, you roll 4 up and see 3 more. So they're the ones who are bringing the impact damage for the unit, while the Chaos Lord on Juggernaut is giving me the ability to have the 3-inch engagement range, which means that I can, doesn't mean I complete a charge that way. I don't believe so. But it does mean that we get, other models can fight up to 3 inches. So that's good for those big bases. But the Lord himself allows the unit to move through walls. So that's pretty big because that's one thing that kind of is bad for Beast and Cavalry units. Space Wolf TCAV saw that for a very long time, where it was like, you can't go through walls, so you can block a couple infantry here and keep someone back. It's like, okay, I can't do anything about these TCAV, but you're just going to take a 5-man squad infantry. Go ahead, eat them. So it's good that we can go through walls. Not much else to say. I mean, it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting, and it's definitely going to be shaking the rust off and seeing what we want to do. and then start painting this stuff up and making this stuff look pretty. All right, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.